Good morning, everybody. Let's see here. All right, what do we got going on? Today is March 24th. Yesterday, our governor officially put the state of Washington here on lockdown, so we are officially in a kind of self-quarantine, stay at home unless you're going to the grocery store deal, which is kind of what we were doing for the last week anyway. Now it's just official, so anyway, I know a lot of people around the world are in a similar situation. We'll stay strong, we'll get creative with fitness, and we will get through this. Today's topic is the wonderful word unbroken. And of course, if you have any questions or whatnot, just throw them out there and I'll do my best to scroll through them and make sure I get them answered. But a lot of workouts that I post, I'll get some question or somebody will say, does this need to be unbroken? Does that part need to be unbroken? Fill in the blank, whatever it happens to be. And as a general blanket statement, no, almost nothing needs to be unbroken. Nothing at all. It's utterly and completely irrelevant and not as important as I think some folks believe that it is in the overwhelming majority of situations. For example, I'll give you a piece of information. So I did Fran this morning, classic CrossFit workout, 21:59 thrusters and pull-ups, and I did Fran unbroken. And I'm pretty proud of that, right? It's a nice little accomplishment. Now, that may get some people to go, oh wow, that's very impressive. Now what if the next part I tell you is, but it took me 27 minutes. I did Fran unbroken in 27 minutes. Because I would do the 21 thrusters, then I would rest 4 minutes, then do the 21 pull-ups, rest 4 minutes, and I played that game until I did Fran unbroken. So, I'm lying. I did not do Fran this morning. But my point is, what's more important if you're talking about a workout? That word unbroken or the overall time at the end? What if person A says, yeah, I did Fran unbroken in, 4 minutes, which is a fantastic Fran time, by the way. And somebody says, oh, I broke up the round of 15 and I did it 30 seconds faster in 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Okay, I guess it's just cool to say that you did it unbroken, but at the end of the day, all ego and just other stuff aside, at the end of the day, if we break down CrossFit to its very, very basic parts, we're looking to do a set amount of work, and we're looking to report how long that workout or that amount of work happened to take us. And therefore, in my mind, there's very few things in the world that you have to do it unbroken. It's largely up to the individual after you learn yourself and your body a little bit as to what is your best course of action to accomplish that work the quickest. Another example could be Grace, 30 clean and jerks for time, 135 for men, 95 pounds for women. Some people will score their fastest Grace time holding on to the barbell. It's a special animal of a human being. And a lot of people either are going to break that up into smaller sets, and then there's still other people that will obtain their fastest Grace time ever by doing 30 fast singles and dropping from the top every time. So again, at the end of the day, what we're talking about is work accomplishment and how long does it take you to achieve that work. And the same thing happens in real life, right? Let's say you're a firefighter or a first responder, and you've got to get some gear from the ground floor up 10 flights of steps. They need it on the top floor. The elevators are shut down, maybe because somebody pulled the fire alarms in the building or whatever it happens to be. Well, what matters if somebody never stopped moving, did it unbroken up the 10 flights of stairs, and somebody else did sprint, rest, sprint, rest, sprint, rest, so they stopped every now and then? You just care who got the gear there first, right? Like, just get the gear there first. Well, all that I'm really concerned about is how long did it take you to achieve the task, and I would like the quicker time. Now, we could go down a separate rabbit hole, which wasn't the intention of this video or podcast, of saying that the overwhelming majority of the time, what will get you to accomplish the work faster is moving well with beautiful technique, which is why we want to have you pay attention to how you're moving, and then proper technique ideally will be the most efficient manner to accomplish the work and not only keep you happy, safe, and healthy, and so the two worlds coexist very nicely. The other area where I'll get this question a lot is, let's say that we post it's a heavy lifting day. Let's say it's a squat snatch, full snatch, and it's going to be 5 triples. So 5 triples on a full squat snatch. The question will be, do those have to be unbroken? Do you have to hold on to the bar for that triple, quote unquote, to count on the heavy day? And I always give the same general advice or recommendation, which is, it is, and it's not a cop-out, it really is up to the individual. It depends, we're working out, in my opinion anyway, not to do well at competitions, but to do well at life, and so that you can work out for decades and decades and be healthy in your 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, etc. Well, if you feel some bizarre pressure because you saw it in a competition, or your favorite competitive athlete has some massive amount of weight on the bar, stands it up out of the bottom of a squat snatch, and then somehow is comfortable lowering that weight, not letting it go, having it crash down into their hips, bring it back down to the floor, then they hit a second one, and they somehow hold on to the bar and bring it back down to their hips, and you see their whole body shake, and they do it for a third. I'm happy that they're doing it. Good for them. That's a choice that they made. I don't think that is probably the best decision for most folks just looking to stay happy and healthy. If you have the capacity, 100%, without a shadow of a doubt, to hold on to the barbell on the weight that you're comfortable with and cycle it, well then, great, good for you. But my point is, if you're at all hesitant about doing that, or it doesn't feel the slightest bit good on your shoulders or back or fill in the blank, drop that darn barbell from overhead. Let's say you're doing a triple. Okay, so you don't touch and go it. Who cares? You're still doing a beautiful functional movement, lifting weight that challenges you, and life is good. So your triple might look like you get set up, you do your pull, you stand it up out of the bottom, you drop it onto the ground, you reach right back down, get set, whatever that takes you, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds, whatever it is, but get a good, nice, set, tight body position. You pull rep number 2, you drop it from overhead, and you play that same game for the last rep. You go down, you don't dilly-dally, you go right down, you get set as quickly as you can, but you don't pull faster than before you're actually set, and you do your third one, and that's what your triple looks like. And then you rest 2 or 3 minutes before your next triple, and it's all good, and that keeps your body happy, safe, healthy, and there's no need or bizarre pressure to do things unbroken. Most of the unbroken stuff will be some sort of artificial, man-made construct, meaning, it's a competition setting, and just to raise the level of competitiveness, for example. Okay, we're going to do a 100-foot handstand walk, and it has to be in unbroken 20-foot sections. And if it's not unbroken 20-foot sections, it doesn't count. Okay, that's just a rule that somebody created in that situation, to make that competition hit certain parameters. Or the same could be said of, you're going to do some sort of chest-to-bar pull-up, and it has to be in some certain X amount of things not broken up in the bar. And it's largely going to be in competition. So competition and life, two separate things. One potentially has artificial rules that I think when those artificial rules unnecessarily wander into some people's affiliates or garage gyms, you might be potentially exposing yourself to something that is not necessary or beneficial. So that's it. Just a quick one there. Let's see if I missed any questions. Then maybe we'll talk real quick about, I think people are ordering home gym equipment like madmen. And if you are in that group of people, what should you order? Okay, let's see. Got a lot of nice thumbs up. Thumbs up to everybody. Let's see. Ooh, great. I see a great question here. All right, maybe I'll dive into this question. Excellent one. Okay. Oh, I lost it. Where is it? DDC underscore PLP05. Hey Pat, how do you calculate the ratio of 400 meters equals 1200 meters on the bike? Yesterday's workout was brutal with the bike. LOL. Laugh out loud. Well, DDC underscore PLP05, I know exactly what you're talking about because yesterday I did the assault bike for the workout and it was horrific. It was awful. So yesterday's workout on Linchpin was in a 2-minute window, run 400 meters, and in the time you have remaining in that 4-minute window, max reps dumbbell push press. And then you're going to do that for a total of 4 cycles. And you're going to rest 2 minutes between each one of those. So there's a tremendous amount of people that as soon as I say that workout, they say, I'm sorry, did you say that in a 2-minute window you wanted me to run 400 meters and then actually have time left over to do some sort of other physical activity? Are you out of your mind, sir? Slightly, yes, I am slightly out of my mind. But yes, that was the workout. Now, like so many other things in the world, that's the prescribed workout. Now, if we remove those pesky things such as ego, what's important is the intent of the workout, and then you can scale or modify it based upon whatever needs you happen to have there. So, on the private track anyway, I always put out a daily video where I walk through every single part of the daily training, from the warm-up to the scaling to the modifications to prescribe to limited equipment options to accessories to the workout intent to the whole 9 yards, so that you see that workout written out there in text, and then you can watch the video, understand the intent of the workout, and if you need to modify it one way, shape, or form, you go, gotcha, makes sense. So one of the things I said in the intent of the workout is, when I had that workout in mind, somebody's running, they're going to do their 400-meter runs in about 90 seconds. Now that might be doable for a lot of athletes and utter and complete science fiction for other athletes. I realized that. So that's why there was some more descriptors about the workout's intent there in the video. And the video basically said, if you're not that 90-second 400-meter run guy, and bear in mind there's 4 rounds, you get a 2-minute rest in between each, the intent of the workout is after you do your quote-unquote hard 400-meter run, whatever that is for you, ideally you would have about 25 or 30 seconds left to grab the dumbbells and get to work, now at a very high heart rate, already fatigued. That was the intent of the workout. A hard as heck 400-meter run, 25 to 30 seconds left with the dumbbells. So if you know yourself and you're like, okay, I'm not a minute 30 400-meter run individual. I'm, a hard 400-meter run for me is 1 minute and 50 seconds. No worries at all. Based upon the information in that video, the intent of the workout, I recommended whatever that hard effort is for you running, tack a 30-second window onto the end, and that becomes your new window. So if your tough 400-meter run was minute 50, well, now your workout is not in a 2-minute window, it's in a 2-minute and 20-second window. And you will still rest 2 minutes between each one of those intervals. And I experienced this, and getting back to the original question, which was, we also give some other equipment conversion. So maybe it's running, snowing, wherever you are, and you're not going to get out for a 400-meter run. So what can you do on the bike? What could you do on the road, the ski erg? In any modification, I just gave an example why the prescribed workout, even if you still ran, you would have to modify it. So you're not even modifying the movements in the workout, but based upon your capacity, you may have to tweak that window a little bit. Well, now if we say, okay, we're not going to run, we're going to row or bike, well, now you're definitely changing the workout, and you are most likely going to have to pay more attention to what the intended stimulus was in that workout description, because since you have extracted one thing and inserted something that's close, but it's definitely different, it's just not going to be the exact same. So when I did 1,200 meters on the assault bike yesterday, which usually, on many workouts, that's a nice substitution. You can substitute calories, you can substitute distance, but for a lot of times in a 400-meter run, a very typical substitution would be 1,200 meters on a bike, like an echo bike or an assault bike, or 500 meters on the row. Are they the exact same? Absolutely not. Which is why one is a bike, one is a row, and one is a run. And I'm not being sarcastic there, but in all honesty, as soon as you substitute something in there, by its very nature, it's a different workout, and you have to be open-minded to the fact that since you're changing the workout, you may have to massage it just a little bit. So I'm actually one of those odd CrossFitters that I like running. I mean, growing up through the SEAL teams, we run. So I'm comfortable running. I run a lot. Running doesn't bother me. And it was raining here yesterday. I would have greatly preferred to run, because I think I would have been roughly in those times that I mentioned. I get on the bike. I don't make a lot of money on the bike. The bike's not my friend. But my 1,200 meters on the bike took me, I want to say, about a minute 45, I think, is about what 1,200 meters on the bike took me. And I know what a hard 400-meter run feels like, effort level. And I would have done the run faster than the time domain on the bike, and I would have felt less fatigued running than I would have on the bike. So my point is that the bike not only took me longer to accomplish a comparable distance, but it left me more fatigued. So it was, without question, just a more difficult option. Took longer and left me having less juice for the dumbbells. But as soon as I did that first bike ride that took me, let's just say it took me a minute 45, I looked at the clock in what I thought initially was going to be a 2-minute window, and I said, nope, looks like this is going to be a 2-minute and 15-second window based upon what happened there on the bike. So you could, of course, say, well, should that have been maybe a 1,000-meter bike instead of a 1,200-meter bike? Yeah, potentially so. Totally fair, potentially so. But none of them are perfect subs, and there's some generally accepted guidelines as to what are good subs one way or another, and most of the time they fit relatively well. Never perfectly, but relatively well. And sometimes one is just far more challenging than the other, and that was the case yesterday on the bike. I had one other thing I wanted to say there too. And the bike's interesting, not to get off on a tangent, because the bike is not linear. Because then you say, all right, should have been maybe calories. But the bike is tricky because, for example, which is why sometimes we go with distance over calories, not all the time, but just in certain workouts. I'm trying real hard not to go down like a 35-minute rabbit hole here. If you pedal, you can do this experiment if you want. If you have like an assault bike, if you pedal for 1 minute at about 60 RPMs, 60 revolutions per minute, and you stay constant at that, you'll get probably ballpark about, let's just say 12 calories. Some would be really close to that. 60 revolutions per minute for 1 minute steady state, about 12 calories. Now, if it was a linear machine, what would that mean? That would mean that if you doubled your revolutions per minute, you should double your calories. So by that very simple math, okay, if a human being could do this, I'm now going to pedal for 1 minute at 120 revolutions per minute. And since I doubled my RPMs, my calories should double from 12 to 24. That's not what happens. The calories don't go from 12 to 24. the calories will be somewhere over 50 by just simply doing that. So the bike is a peculiar machine. Again, not linear. So some things, we could have put, instead of the 1,200 meters yesterday, 25 calories, and you would have regular human beings like myself that it probably would have been a pretty decent modification and taken me roughly the time that a 400 meter run took. But you could get some big, like 230 pound dude on that bike that just eats the assault bike for breakfast, and he would do that 25 calories in about 40 seconds. Chances are that 230 pound individual would not do a 400 meter run in 30 seconds. So the calories can be a bit deceiving. The distance setting the meters seems to be a bit more linear, and even if every now and then it's not exact, it takes a bit longer, it seems to be a better representation than some other things that you could potentially do there. So let's see. All right, I see DDC underscore PLP05 chimed in again, said, let's see. Thank you for the response. I now feel less like a pansy because the bike was also taking me 140 to 145, but I felt dead every time I got off, which for sure I don't feel after the run. Gotcha. Oh, Texas Tally might actually be giving me some cool information here. He says, let's see. It's because the fan has a 2-time relationship between speed and wind resistance. Interesting. Okay, so it has a 2-time relationship. So there's some interesting mathematics happening there with the bike, which again all just leads into some workouts make more sense to program a set number of meters, and some workouts make more sense to put a set number of calories on there. So very, very interesting. All right, let's see if I missed anything else before I... Rich underscore Taylor 185 Echo Bike versus Assault Bike. What's your thoughts? I own an Assault Bike. I do not own an Echo Bike, a Rogue Echo Bike. But we have Rogue Echo Bikes at CrossFit HQ. So every time I go down there, I use a Rogue Echo Bike. And if I had to have just one, I would take the Rogue Echo Bike. They will both get you wonderfully fit, but just like all things Rogue, that thing is just built like a Sherman tank. I just get the feeling that you would have it forever, and you would give it to your grandkids, and it would still be in like new condition, because it's just, in classic Rogue fashion, it's overbuilt. Okay. All right. Rich underscore Taylor 185. Great advice on the unbroken. It's all about the stimulus, isn't it? Yes, exactly. Yep, that would be my take on that. All right, I think we're good. Okay, so Texas Tally, definitely, I'm 185 pounds. He's definitely bigger than me. So Texas Tally, 220 pounds, and he would love to see 25 calories instead of a 400-meter run. Exactly. I'm sure you could crush 25 calories on that assault bike in a far, far, far faster time than a 400-meter run. So it's just interesting. So at the end of the day, the only time that this stuff can drive you bonkers is when potentially you're just trying to compare yourself to somebody else, and they had to modify the workout in some way due to weather, due to equipment. So somebody did yesterday's workout with the 400-meter run, and somebody else did it with the bike, and you're like, how many push presses did you get by the end of all the 4 cycles? And somebody says, I got 50. And somebody's like, oh, I got 52. Well, if one person ran and one person did a bike, even though the 1,200 meters on the bike was one of the recommended substitutions, it's an entirely different workout. And therefore, you can't really compare person A to person B. They're close, and you can have a nice chat, but not the same workout. I mean, even if 2 people did the 400-meter run, unless you knew for a fact that both people's run courses were the exact same, some people's are slightly uphill, slightly downhill, some person has a loop, one person has an out and back. It could drive you bonkers. So at the end of the day, if you're just trying to work out, get fit, and have fun, then those little teeny discrepancies, you just make a little note of them, and when you repeat the workout next time, you see if you stayed the same, got better, or got worse. And that's it. All right, everybody. Keep your sanity. with this darn coronavirus. Stay inside if you have to. Stay healthy. Take care of the family. And I will talk to you later.